Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're gonna be focusing on Bitcoin and crypto because that seems to be the fun thing to talk about these days. We'll talk about some stocks if you guys have some requests for stocks. I know the stock market is currently trading right now on this Friday morning here on the East Coast. I started my live stream a little bit earlier today. I usually go live around like 12 p.m. Eastern time, but I decided to start early because I have to bring one of my cars in for an oil change and replace the brake light and stuff like that. But yeah, I got some things I gotta do later on this afternoon. So this is gonna be like a short 1 hour live stream. So if you guys do have requests, go ahead and put them in right now. We'll start off with Bitcoin first here, and then we'll look at some other cryptos if I don't have requests. We'll look at the ones that I got into this morning for some leverage longs here, and then we'll talk about the requests as they come in. Okay, but yeah, we're looking at the price of Bitcoin currently trading at $110,630, and I just got a text message from one of my buddies in crypto here saying Bitcoin's down. And I had to, give him a short explanation that, Wall Street likes to get in some good entries right before the weekend, especially after a news-driven event that we had about the U.S. unemployment report. We're going to look at that, okay? But Wall Street, they don't let the party get started until they get in on their leverage longs and their positions on Bitcoin and crypto. So we got some news here today about the unemployment report that basically shook up the markets this morning, and that right here is the unemployment report. The U.S. employment report, jobs report, came in at 8:30 in the morning here this Friday, September 5th, and they came in at 22,000 jobs. They only added 22,000 jobs last month for the month of August. They're expecting 75,000 jobs. And the month before that was about, the month of July was about 79,000 jobs. So we're losing jobs right now. And this is going to cause the Federal Reserve they have to cut interest rates. They have to cut interest rates with numbers being the way they are, because It's part of their mandate to maintain employment. Okay, they have to maintain good employment. People need to still have jobs, and they also got to keep the inflation down. And they've made progress on bringing inflation down, although it kind of like slowed down on the progress of inflation coming down. But now the U.S. economy is slowing down, and employment is not good anymore with this jobs report. I mean, if they continue at this rate, we'll probably see a negative jobs. We're probably going to be losing jobs going into next month. So they have to do something about that, because that can act really fast. Let me go back. Unemployment rate did go up a little bit from 4.2% to 4.3%. That unemployment rate could start climbing really fast here if they don't do something about interest rates here. And so, you know, right now, a lot of investors and traders, including myself, are anticipating that they're going to cut interest rates in September 17th. Okay. But we're getting a crazy action here in the Bitcoin markets here. We saw this candle. Right now we're looking at the daily chart for Bitcoin. We came down as low as $110,200. I believe that was like around last night. Then we went as high as $113,390 this morning. Only for us to come right back down to 110,000. Now we're at 110,697. All right, and let me just show you what this looks like on the 1 hour chart here. Yeah. Okay. So actually this 100, yeah, we came down last night. We were as low as about $109,300 here on Bitcoin. Okay. And let me see. Going into yeah, about last night. Sorry, no, I take that back. I read that wrong. I misquoted myself. Okay. About last night, around 8 o'clock last night, we came down to like $110,400 here on Bitcoin. We're about almost at that same price here on the 1 hour time frame. But we started catching some bids last night going into the morning hours here. We actually saw Bitcoin at $113,000 at 3 o'clock in the morning. Could it be said that somebody out there might have already looked at the jobs report and knew that interest rates were going to probably go lower here from where they are right now? So they started buying Bitcoin last night when everybody was sleeping. That's my conspiracy theory. I'm sure someone saw that jobs report before they released it this morning and decided to buy some Bitcoin last night. And we saw Bitcoin going up to $113,000 while everybody was sleeping here in the United States. Then it came down in the early morning hours, and then we came up to about $113,390 when that news got released about the jobs report being really bad. Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, $113,400 was a level that a lot of people were looking out for, including myself. And that's pretty much where we got up to for the most part here. That's one reason why we had a sell-off here, going into late morning hours here on Friday. I was eyeballing 113,400 because that was a level that we saw back here last Thursday where we topped out at on Bitcoin. It's also a level that has acted as resistance back on Friday, August 22nd here. Okay, so this was a level that I've been looking at, that I spotted, especially since there was like a previous high here. Okay, and we were making lower highs and lower lows, so we pretty much topped out at 113,400. Sell orders came in, but also we had a more vicious, violent sell-off because Wall Street needs to get in. When they want to buy low, they don't just buy immediately. Okay. They're going to sell, Bitcoin and short sell first. Get rid of all the leverage longs that got excited about the news this morning about unemployment going up and a possible interest rate cut. And they hacked through those leverage longs, took out their stop losses, and now Wall Street gets to buy at lower prices. Okay? At the price that they want. Okay? before the weekend starts here. But I think we'll most likely get a recovery, getting back up to probably about $112,000 Bitcoin. I suspect later on this afternoon and this evening, and maybe we might see 113,000 all over again later on tonight, going into tomorrow, because they gotta cut interest rates at this point. I mean, Jerome Powell will be considered a moron if he didn't lower interest rates, and then also he has pressure from Donald Trump saying that he's gonna fire him if he doesn't lower interest rates. And now we actually have the numbers to back it up that the economy is slowing down. Unemployment's going up, and I know they want to bring inflation down, and they had made progress on that, okay, but to sacrifice the economy just to bring inflation down, it's not worth it. So they're probably going to now focus on being more accommodating and supporting the jobs market and the economy versus trying to bring inflation down, okay. Because there's also lagging effects with inflation. Inflation should be coming down as the weeks and months go by here, and they're worried about Donald Trump's tariffs. But we've had news from last week that the U.S. Appellate Court has said that Donald Trump's tariffs are illegal. So now things are starting to favor that we might not have tariffs, we might not have inflation. And now we might actually be getting unemployment going up and having a slowing economy. So they need to start changing their mindset over at the Federal Reserve and actually help people out. Because it's not just us in the markets that need help with interest rates being lowered. There's people that are trying to buy houses and they're not able to buy houses. And there's people who are trying to refinance their houses who are not able to refinance their houses. They need a lifeline here, and they need the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. And if they don't, then these guys are probably working against us, and they probably all need to be fired and get rid of, in my opinion. Not just Jerome Powell. If they want to keep interest rates high, even after all this bad news that we just got, they're the problem, not Donald Trump and not the administration and not anything else. They're the problem. Okay. Let's see. We got a few people here in the live chat. I just want to say hi to you guys. Getting into the live chat on my YouTube. I'm glad to see Dave P in the chat. I see Duality C is in the chat, and I see John316. I appreciate you guys hitting that like button, as John has told you guys to smash that like button, not just hit it. And I also see Steve Hickey's in the chat. Good to see you as well. And let me check up on my TikTok guys. I see some of my TikTok guys are in here. I know I started a little bit early, so I might have thrown some people off here, but I'm glad to see the ones that did make it are here. Let's see. Do I have any requests? Do you guys have any requests? There's some cryptos I want to get into if I don't get any requests here. But I'm going to try to focus on your requests here because I'm only going to be on here for about an hour to probably another half hour from where we are right now. And then that's going to be it. And then I got to get ready to get one of my cars over to the mechanic. But yeah, thank you, Mastering Motivation. I am doing all right. I'm doing pretty well myself. I hope you're doing well as well. And Aiden wants to look at ICP. Okay, I'll write that down. I do want to look at Aerodrome Finance and SUI if I can. But we can take a look at ICP. Thank you. And let's see. We have Dave P asking for Kronos. Okay. So we'll take an ICP and Kronos. And let's see. I think that's it for requests as of now. Okay. All right. So just looking at, just finishing off here on Bitcoin, I believe we'll get a recovery on Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame. We didn't come down to the 200 moving average, but it is below us at 110,100. I'd be very surprised if they actually take it down to that level, but they could. Okay, there's nothing that says that they can't. All right, and I would expect a bounce off the 200 moving average if they do come down to that level. And I'm expecting us to try to make ourselves back up to 112K and revisit 113K when when they're able to do so here. Okay, but yeah, I think we're gonna be seeing prices going up rather than down. We also got the full moon for tomorrow, and usually Bitcoin doesn't go down during a full moon, so we got that going for us as well. Let's take a look at ICP here. Internet Computer. Then we'll go into the daily time frame. I like to look at the daily time frame. Unless you guys want smaller time frames, I'll look at the daily time frame here. We got ICP currently trading at $4.77. And I have identified that ICP looks like it is in the falling wedge, which usually breaks out to the upside. So you got that going for you, possibly here with ICP. Where are my moving averages? Oh, okay, yeah, the moving averages are right above us. Okay, so I think there's more. I think there's more upside than there is downside to ICP. So I like the low risk, high reward situation that you might get out of this asset here. Let me go ahead and throw in the oscillators real quick, see what the RSI is doing here. I do see some higher lows forming on the RSI, so that's good to see. And the RSI is at 42, so you have room to go to the upside if this thing does want to go to the upside. And then looking at the MACD, as I start to zoom in here a little bit, you can see selling pressure starting to die off. If we continue on this trend, eventually you'll get a flip, probably going into this weekend and next week. You'll see buying pressure, green candles start showing up, and that'll confirm that you're actually getting some positive price action here. And then also on Market Cipher B, you did have a green buy dot come in on Wednesday. So you have the permission from Market Cipher B to go ahead and buy some ICP right now. And you might be cashing the lows for now. Usually when you see a green buy dot, you get a few good days ahead of you where you'll see some positive price action. So I think it's a green light to be a long on ICP, in my opinion. And if you're gonna long this thing, where could you take this thing to? I have identified previously from other live streams that this thing could go up to $5.48, which has acted as resistance in the past. But also, I think last time I checked, the 200 moving average was at 548. Right now, the 200 moving average is at 538, so you could get some resistance between $5.38 and $5.48. I think that should be your first take profit. And then your second take profit, I think you could get this thing up to $6.32. And that's the highs that you saw back here in June when this thing got up to like $6.32. So I think that should be your second take profit target. However, let's see, I did identify another level for us to look out for. And yeah, I did look for $7 on this asset here. $7.05 is a level that people were buying back in February of this year. And those people might click the sell button just to break even. So that would probably be a good time for you to also click the sell button. If you're able to push this asset up to $7, I think that should be a third take profit target. And then as far as downside goes, you know, downside, just stop loss. You put your stop loss right below this candlewick low here at $4.59. And, you know, if you get stopped out, then there might be something wrong with ICP. You probably don't want to stick around to find out. And if it does go back down to that level, it probably means you're still in the falling wedge and you have to go a little bit lower before we finally get out of the falling wedge. Okay? All right, moving on from ICP to Cronos. Let's go ahead and take a look at Cronos here. Cronos currently trading at 26 cents, down 1.5% right now today. And Cronos has been like trying to contend up against this 0.5 retracement level. I mean, you could kind of, the colors aren't really helping here, but yeah. This is looking like it's sitting at like 27 cents. Yeah. 27 cents is going to be a resistance for now until we can actually flip this to support and actually use it to go up to higher prices here. If Cronos does go to higher prices, I'm expecting maybe some resistance at 30 cents. It's a psychological number, but it's also where the golden pocket is sitting at, between 30 cents and almost 31 cents here. So you could probably do a day trade and try to get yourself a nice swing day trade here to 30 cents. And if you do that, just going from where we are right now to 30 cents is about a 14% move up. 31 cents puts you at like 17%. Slap on some 10x leverage and that could be 170%. And you can double your money or a little bit more than that. Okay, so that's something to take into consideration. And then as far as lows, how far low could this thing go? I think the 0.382 level will hold for Cronos here at 24 cents. 24.5 cents is that 0.382 level here. If it has to go further down to finally catch some bids here, there is the 21 EMA right below you at 21.5 cents here. And also you got the 0.236 retracement at 21 cents. So that could be another potential low where you can get some cheaper Cronos if you're able to do so. Okay. I think Cronos, yeah, you're just hoping that you can, you know, stay above 24.5 cents here. You probably put your stop loss over there. And then you're trying to push this thing up to 30 cents. And then eventually you're trying to push this thing, if you can, back up to 39 cents like you did here on August 28th here. That would be nice, right? If we get back up there. John wants to look at ZBCN. Of course. John, if I keep looking at Cronos and ZBCN all the time, that people are going to think those are the only two cryptos that I know. But you're the one that keeps requesting them. But alright, we'll take a look at ZBCN. And then we'll look at a few more as well. Alright. It can't just be the Cronos and ZBCN show here. This is the Meet Damien live stream, but it's not just the Cronos and ZBCN show. Alright, but anyways, we'll look at it for you. We're looking at ZBCN currently trading at 39,400 points here. And ZBCN is just, you know, maintaining that 0.32 retracement at 39,000, okay? Try to maintain support there. We kind of almost lost it here on Monday and Tuesday, but we were able to get it back. We're just holding at that 0.32 retracement at 39,000, okay? If we do lose this level, then we do have the 100-day moving average that could provide support at 34,000 points here. And then we also got the 0.236 level that could also provide support at 31,000. That could be where you get some cheaper ZBCN, okay? But moving on to the upside, you know, you are still trying to target this golden pocket level here at 51,000, okay? 51,000, 53,000 should be your first take profit target. And I think second take profit target should be right above you, that 786 retracement at 60,000. And if you're able to do that, I mean, if you get back to 60,000, that's a 60% move, okay? Slap on like maybe 10x leverage and you get 600% gain, or 5x leverage, you got a 300% gain. And that's pretty good for a lot of people if you can get like a 300% gain if you're day trading this with, you know, 5x leverage, okay? But yeah, those are the targets, upside targets for ZBCN. We're still working on it. We're still trying to provide support at 39,000, and then we're just waiting to get launched up into the 50,000 area. At least that's my opinion on that one. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at Aerodrome Finance because I decided to get into Aerodrome on a long here. And let's see what downside, upside targets might be for Aerodrome Finance. So I measured a Fibonacci from this impulse move back here in August when we saw Aerodrome at 72 cents. And then we came up as high as $1.60 on August 22nd. So that was a nice move, right? And what did Aerodrome Finance decide to do after that? Well, we did a retracement, obviously. We came below the golden pocket at, you know, $1.26. We lost that. And looks like we got support off of the 0.382 retracement at $1.06. We came down to $1.05 here on Coinbase Exchange. And I think we're trying to work our way back up at least to the 618 at $1.26, okay? But this thing could, you know, if it's going to remain bullish here, it could push itself up to that 786 retracement at $1.41 and even get back up to $1.60. So I am targeting those levels, $1.41 and $1.60. But first take profit would be $1.26. Second take profit would be $1.41, and then third take profit to finish off the trade would get you back up to $1.60 here on Aerodrome Finance. And then as far as like stop losses go, you know, you can put your stop loss right below the candlewick low here on Coinbase Exchange at $1.05 or $1.04, somewhere in that area. And if we lose that, then that means we're still in the downtrend here. And we might end up coming right down to this 0.236 retracement at 93 cents here for Aerodrome. And that happens to be like right where that 50-day moving average should provide support. So if you're a Fibonacci guy, you're looking for 93 cents for cheaper Aerodrome. And if you're a moving average guy, you're also looking for about 90 cents to like 93 cents here. So I see some confluence between these two. That would be the cheapest price you could probably get Aerodrome. That makes a lot of sense here. Okay. I'm not sure if Aerodrome is actually going to go down there, because if Bitcoin's going to have a bullish weekend and a bullish week next week, then, you know, this is just, you know, this is just a dream to get Aerodrome back at 93 cents here. Okay. But yeah, I think upside targets $1.26 and $1.41 for Aerodrome in the near future here. And of course, let's see if we can get back up to $1.60 here on Aerodrome. Let's see, Dave, yeah, Dave P did Kronos. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I know Kronos and ZBCN are pretty popular crypto, so I don't mind doing it for you guys. I just feel like we always talk about it almost every day. It seems like, but they are good cryptos to get into. They both have use cases. You know, Kronos is a cryptocurrency exchange coin. And as long as that cryptocurrency exchange is continuing to make money, Kronos will be around. And then ZBCN has to deal with payrolls, so I think that one will be around as well. Okay. Let's see, what do we got here for live chat on my TikTok? Okay, so we have a guy here asking about H-bar. All right. We'll take a look at H-bar. I'm gonna write that down. And then Beyond Limits is asking about Bitcoin. We already talked about Bitcoin. Bitcoin could come down to 110,100, at least on the 1 hour time frame. That's where the 200 moving average is sitting at. I'll look at that real quick here for you. But yeah, we already looked at Bitcoin, and I think we're getting a bounce now on the 1 hour. Yeah. So Bitcoin could come down to this 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame at 110,100. Could be a good support area. Could be where you can get some cheaper Bitcoin if you're able to do so. And I think Bitcoin's going to try to recover and get right back to 112, 113K here later on tonight going into tomorrow. Okay. I think this was just a good scare to get rid of some of the leverage longs out there. And now Wall Street's able to buy at the price that they want to buy Bitcoin at, and then we're gonna see this thing probably go up to higher prices. So I'd be surprised if we go down to lower prices. That would not make sense to me. I know everybody was rooting for rate cuts and for a low or bad jobs number, and that's what we got. So we're probably gonna get rate cuts, and I can't see why crypto would go down because of that. Okay, so I think we're still good here on Bitcoin. All right, but I don't know. I mean, those are my thoughts. I mean, the market could prove me wrong and try to throw us in for a surprise here. To the downside, Bitcoin could possibly go down to $108,400. But if it does that, I'd be a strong buyer. I would be buying more crypto and more Bitcoin if we ever get down to like 107 or 108K again. Okay. All right, let's go back into, we're going to look at H-bar, and then I want to take a look at SUI, if I can. Yeah. Let's see, H-bar, sure, on Mexi Exchange, why not? Get into the daily time frame here for H-bar. We see H-bar currently trading at 21 cents, almost 22 cents, up 2.4% today. And H-bar had its impulse move back here in July, going into August here, and we topped out at 30 cents, 30.5 cents, and now we're just flagging out. And we were thinking that we were going to hold 22.5 cents, but we lost that towards the end of August and the first week of September here. So we're still making lower highs, and now we're making lower lows, and we're still like flagging out here, and we haven't really caught the bids yet. Maybe we have to go a little bit lower, I don't know, down to this 50-day moving average at 20 cents, 21 cents here. And then we get the bounce that we're looking for. We get more people excited about trying to stay above the 50-day moving average on H-bar. Let's see. I'm looking at the oscillators right now. And of course, I gotta go to my cheat sheet. You did get a green buy dot here on Friday, today, saying buy H-bar. And usually when you get that green buy dot on the daily time frame here, it means you're gonna get at least a few good days, maybe even a good week ahead of you for H-bar. So yeah, I would probably start buying H-bar just off of that signal right there, okay? But, you know, we don't just use one signal. We like to see what else is going on in the charts here. On the MACD, you see selling pressures dying down, so that probably influenced the reason why we got a green buy dot on Market Cipher B. So selling pressures dying off. If that continues, eventually you get a MACD flip and you'll start getting a green buying pressure candles. So I would consider buying H-bar if I was inclined to do so. And then RSI has been, you know, coming down here, okay? But RSI is at 42, and that's like neutral territory. We have the room to go up to higher prices if we're allowed to do so. You're not oversold or overbought. You're just in neutral territory, okay? If this was an oversold territory, like if there's like a 30 or lower on the RSI, I would say this thing is a screaming buy. Not a screaming buy, but still a buy in my opinion, based on the other indicators and oscillators out there. So yeah, I would consider buying some H-bar right now. And if you did so right now, you could put your stop loss. I mean, you could keep it tight and keep it below this candlewick low on Monday at 21 cents. But there's a chance that we could come down to 21 cents. You might get stopped out only for us to then go to higher prices. So maybe I would probably consider putting the stop loss below the green line, below the 50-day moving average. Maybe put it at like 19 or 20 cents. And if you really want to stay in the trade and not get, you know, bamboozled here, where they bring it down only for them to bring it back up again, you can probably put your stop loss below that 200-day moving average at like probably like 18.5 cents. Because let's see, the 200-day moving average is sitting at 19, almost 20 cents. So maybe, you know, maybe you could do like 19.5 or 19 cents as your stop loss on H-bar. All right. And if you did that, right, your stop loss from where you are right now, and you take it down to like 19.5 cents, you're risking about 11%. You're risking 11% here. But I think upside, you could probably take this at least back to the highs here in July at like 30 cents. So you're risking 11% to try and get to that 30-cent target, and that's about a 40% gain. Okay? So you're risking 11 to get 40%. I think if you were to do a long position from where we are right now, that could be like a 4-to-1 ratio. Just eyeballing it, but let's see. And then you take this down to like 19.5. Yeah, you got a risk-reward ratio about 3.77. So anything above 3 is really good on the risk-reward. And if it's closer to 4, that's even better. Okay, so I think you could probably take this thing up. You can buy right now, put your stop loss at 19.5 cents, and you can ride this thing all the way up to 30 cents. And that would be your first take profit target. And you did alright. You're going to get a 40% gain. And you can throw on 10x leverage and make that a 400% gain. Something to take into consideration here. Alright, so that's H-bar. I think I want to take a look at SUI. And then, you know, we'll see if I can squeeze in a couple more cryptocurrencies before I have to go. Alright, let's take a look at SUI. So we're now looking at SUI, currently trading at $3.38, up 3% today. What is Sui doing? What is Sui? So Sui's wasn't a falling wedge that I identified in previous live streams here. And a falling wedge usually breaks out to the upside, and I think we're kind of getting that right now with Sui. We're on the daily time frame here. Wow, interesting. So I drew out this falling wedge, and it looks like Sui actually yesterday tried to back test the falling wedge. It broke out of it, right, on Wednesday. Then Thursday we back tested, you know, this falling wedge, and now we're coming back up. This is really good and promising in my opinion. And you're still making roughly higher lows here on the daily time frame. That's good to see. So you got your back test, and now you got a green candle here for today, and then you're just looking for some more green candles to push Sui up to higher prices here. And if Sui does go to high prices, I think $3.62 is your first take profit target on this asset here. And then second take profit is going to be about like $4 on Sui, that 786 retracement. And then eventually we're going to see if Sui can get back up to 443, which is the level that it was at here on July 28th. We're looking for $4.44 Sui if we're able to do so. But yeah, you know, Sui was in a downtrend, making lower highs here on the price. And it was also making lower lows and not looking so good. We did get a bounce off that 200-day moving average. So that 200-day moving average can now be used as a stop loss area, where you can put your stop loss right below the 200-day moving average. Because look, I mean, this thing can go below the 200-day moving average only for it to then go back up again. Okay, so we came below the 200-day moving average, and we actually came down to like $3.11. So maybe you can put your stop loss at like $3.10 and hope that you don't get stopped out on Sui. And like I said, you could ride this thing up to $3.60 and then $4. And let me just quickly do a long position on this, so you can see where we could go on Sui. So let's see, we're going to put our stop loss at like 310, okay? And if we're just going to go up to $3.60, that doesn't really give you much of a risk-reward ratio here from where we are right now, okay? You're actually at a risk-reward ratio of 1, or 0.86 here. So, I mean, you could throw on some leverage, and that's only about a 7% move up, and a 10x leverage would get you a 70% gain on that. 20x leverage would get you about 140% gain out of that. But you're probably looking to take this thing up to higher prices here. I think Sui could get up to $4, no problem here. And there you're looking at a 17% gain on Sui, and your risk reward ratio is about 2. Okay. Still, you know, not the best. Okay, because you want your risk reward ratio to be about 3 when you're taking a good solid trade here. However, if you are targeting the previous high here in July, or I should say the all-time high at $4.44, then I think the risk reward ratio becomes even better if you're able to stay in the trade and take it to 444. And now your risk reward ratio is about 3.75. Okay, so yeah, you could buy Sui right now, put your stop loss at 310. You're risking about 8% to try and get 31% on Sui. Stop on 10x leverage, that's about a 310% gain right there. Alright, pretty cool. Let's see, what else do we have in the chat here? Is that a request for Sensei? I don't know what is that, a crypto or a stock? Is that, what are we saying here? Sensei 6 million? I don't know. Sensei, okay, you want to look at Sensei, gotcha. And then we got a guy requesting Pulse Chain. Okay, so I guess we could look at Pulse Chain and Sensei. I'll try to look at Sensei first, and then I'll look at Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain is like kind of hard for me to pull up on the charts, but I'll try and do that for you. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Sensei. Sensei. What crypto exchange is Sensei on? Looks like I'm having a little hard time finding it. Is that a stock? I'm having a little bit of hard time finding it here. on Uniswap maybe. Oh, Sensei on Mexi Exchange. There we go. All right, so I found it on Mexi Exchange. Let's see what we got here. I'm looking at Sensei, currently trading at 0.001 pennies. We're just gonna say 11.41 to make it easier, and it's up 1.3% today. Ooh, interesting. You are revisiting the lows that you did back here in June and the beginning of July, and you're also at the same area as like where you were back here in March. Okay, Sensei. So this is a very interesting pick here. I might even decide to get in on this myself. Just trying to see what this thing has done in the past. Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to get back to where we were in December of last year. It would be nice if we can get back up to a penny. 0.012 pennies here on December 12th, 2024. That would be nice, right? No guarantees though. But, I mean, maybe you could try to revisit like the highs here at the 27.52, like you did back here in May, and you did here in July. So this is an area that I'm going to try to target for a long-term long on this position, or a swing trade long. So we're looking for 2,700, okay? Around that area. Which has also acted as resistance back here in November 2024 as well. So interesting. Very interesting. I think I identified target to the upside for you. But most likely, those who are using moving averages as their take profit targets, they're probably targeting the 200-day moving average sitting at 1634, and then the 100-day moving average at 1740. So you got some targets over here to look for. So I'll go ahead and try to put another one in there. Let's see if we can get back up to here as well, okay? Now I got something to work with here. And your low, or your stop loss, would probably be somewhere like around this area, like 1,000, or even like the low here in June at 924. So we'll just say 924 just to be conservative, without putting a leverage on it. So we're starting here, and we're just taking it right up to here at 1640. You got a risk-reward ratio of 1.25. Actually, let me adjust the stop loss. Let's see, what stop loss is going to be like right there. Okay, so you're risking 18% to try and get 41% gain, and you got a risk-reward ratio of just 2.29 on that first target at like 1600. But if you're able to push the trade to higher prices and get back to where you were in July, I mean, you could try to see, you could try to go for 2,700 here, and that's 137% gain. You're gonna double your money on Sensei, and you got a risk-reward ratio of 7.49. Wow, might be worth getting into. I don't know what Sensei does. If you could tell me in the chat right now, in the live chat, what does Sensei do? I'm a little bit curious if it has a use case. Is it related to AI? Is it a gaming coin? Is it a layer 1 utility coin? Like, what does it do? Or is this thing a meme coin here? But either or, I think you got a good risk-reward ratio going on here. Even if you're not going to take it to where it was in July, even if you just take it to like where it was here the end of August, right? At like 1630, you still got a risk-reward ratio of 2.37. Not the 3 that we're looking for on most trades, but still, I think, you could adjust your stop loss a little bit. Take your stop loss to like right over here at like 1,000, and now your risk-reward ratio is still 5. And that's just bringing it up to like to where we were a couple of weeks ago for the risk-reward ratio. So I actually like this one. I might have to get into it myself. I might throw some beer money into it, some drinking money over the weekend that I would use to go out drinking. I would probably throw some drinking money into it, like 100, 200 bucks. Put some leverage on it, right? 10x leverage, and get like a 430% gain. And then that would, what, 430%? That's almost like a 5x. So you can turn $100 into $500 maybe. What are we talking about here? I see Ava Medina is in the chat. And what are we talking about? What's bad? And why don't you want to look? Are you talking about Bitcoin and crypto right now? I think Bitcoin's doing alright. Oh, you're talking about yeah, drinking. Well, no, this is John now. John saying drink and stay away from the serpent juice. Yeah, I try my best. You know, I've gone like sometimes like a month or two of not drinking, which I think is good for a lot of people. But usually I don't drink unless there's a special occasion, like one of my friends' birthdays or something like that. Oh, let's see. You said that Sensei makes AI bots. Interesting. So it's related to artificial intelligence. Okay. Might be worth taking a chance on. Wow, Solana's back down to $203. Interesting. And Ethereum's down to like 42.78. I see buying opportunities today, guys, for these cryptos. Especially with Sensei here. Sensei, I think, is worth looking at. And then we also got to look at another one besides Sensei. What was the other request? I forgot. Did I write it down? I know we look at Sensei. I have a guy asking about Chilloween. Is that related to Halloween? Chilloween? And yeah, Lorene, it does look like a triple bottom on this Sensei coin. I think it's worth taking a risk. The risk is low, the reward is high. I like it for a long. I guess we'll look at Chilloween. I can't remember what the other coin that was. Oh, Pulse Chain, that's right. Let me look at Pulse Chain, sorry. Pulse Chain and then Chilloween. We'll see if we can look at those two. Where is Pulse Chain? I think I put it as like one of my favorites here. Yeah, okay. This, I believe, is your Pulse Chain that you're looking for. Currently trading at, we'll just say 3,846. And Pulse Chain is right above the 200-day moving average. And above the 50-day and the 100-day. So that's good to see, but it's like almost like right above it. So we've seen better days here on Pulse Chain in August, where it got up to like 5,590. And how would I play this for a trade? I would probably put the stop loss below 200-day moving average, maybe a little bit below it, because you can see that we have gone below the 200-day moving average on Pulse Chain, and we had a little candlewick low here. So I'll probably put the stop loss right below the candlewick if I can. It looks like we got as low as 33.22 here. So I'll do that long position again for you one more time here, right? Why not? If you were to buy now and put your stop loss at, we'll say 32.90, around that area, and you're just trying to get back to the highs here at 55.90, you got a 45% gain potential. And you're risking 14% here. You got a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio on Pulse Chain. That's normal. That's a decent trade. Okay, not as great as that other one where we saw like a 5-to-1, 7-to-1 ratio on Sensei. But this one's still good because, you know, 45% is good for most people. And if it's not, you do 2x leverage, and that gets you a 90% gain, which is almost like doubling your money. You could put 10x leverage, and then it's like a 450% gain. Just getting back to where you were on Saturday, August 23rd, about a couple of weekends ago. So that's how I would try to play Pulse Chain. You know, put your stop loss right here at 32.70 or 32.90, around that area. And if we do come down to the 200-day moving average, you know, you would expect a bounce in a reaction and try to get you off of that 200-day moving average. But if you lose it, then you're gonna get stopped out. And yeah, if you buy now, that stop loss is gonna cause you to lose 14%. Okay. If I was leverage trading this, I would not put the stop loss this low. Like if I was like leverage trading it, putting in like 5 or 10x leverage, I'd probably put the stop loss probably below the candlewick low of yesterday. Yeah, and then you got a risk-reward ratio of like 10. If you can get it up to the highs back here in August. But yeah, if I was leverage trading this, like the low here yesterday was at 36.98, so I probably put the stop loss at 36.90 in that area. You know, so 4% loss, but you know, with 10x leverage, it ends up being a 40% loss. And if you're only putting in like $100 in that trade, you're gonna lose like, you know, $40 out of your margin. Okay, but you're trying to ride this thing, if you can, back up to the highs in August. And you know, with a 10x leverage, that's a 450% gain. I can't do the math right now, but that's almost like a 5x. So your $100 could turn into $500 if you can ride it back up to where it was in August. But if I was leverage trading this, I'd probably just try to ride this up to like the high here on August 31st. You know, and that ends up being a 16% gain. You put 10x leverage on that, that's 160%. And the risk reward, you know, on a 10x leverage on Pulse Chain, if you're able to do so, you know, it's a 4.1 risk reward. That's still a good trade. Still a good long, in my opinion. That's how I would do leverage trading on this asset. I don't know if that interests you. I don't know if you do leverage trading, but that's how I would do it. Let's see, Eric, oh yeah, that's right, you're asking about Chilloween. We'll look at Chilloween, and then we'll look at XRP, Lorraine. And, I don't know if I can do Bonk, because I gotta get going. I gotta bring one of my cars over to the mechanic. But we'll do Chilloween, and then we'll do XRP, then we'll finish off on Bitcoin, and that will be it for this live stream. We'll look at, Bitcoin on the way out, okay? But let's get into Chilloween here and then XRP. Did I write that right? Chilloween. I see Chill Guy here. Chilloween. I don't see it coming up here on TradingView. I don't got any matches for that. What exchange does Chilloween trade on? I don't see anything coming. I see Chill Guy. That's a very popular meme coin that's out there, but I don't see Chilloween here. If it's brand spanking new and it's not on an exchange yet, then I'm not going to be able to pull up here on TradingView. Let's move on to XRP for now, and then maybe I can fit Bonk in there since I can't get Chilloween. Look at XRP currently trading at $2.81. XRP was trying to maintain this Fibonacci level, this 0.5 at $2.78 as best as it could. It almost lost. I mean, it did lose it here on Monday, and we even closed below it. We came as low as like $2.69 on Monday, and we closed at 275.5 level, which I think is still important. I think Fibonacci traders are using these levels here, and I measured this Fibonacci from the $1.90 that we saw back here in on June 22nd. So that's the swing low to the swing high at 366, and that's how I was able to get these Fibonacci numbers here. If XRP is going to try to be bullish here, then we got to see if we can regain the $3 psychological level, which is also that 0.618 Fibonacci golden pocket level. Okay, so we got to get back to the golden pocket, try to reclaim $3, and then we could try to see if we could push XRP up to $3.28 here, which is the 786 retracement that acted as resistance in the beginning of August here. I think those are your upside targets for XRP. You're looking for $3, and then about roughly 328, 330 should be your take profit targets to the upside for XRP. And then going forward, let's see if we can get back to the 366 on XRP. And I know some of you guys are thinking, $3 XRP, this thing can do better than that. Well, if it can show us that it can do better than that, then there is the 1272 fib extension at $4.13, and then there's the 1618 at $4.74. And I think XRP really needs to kick its butt into gear, but it is possible that we could see a 2618 fib extension for XRP that could get us like $6.50. That purple number right there. Okay. But yeah, let's first get back to $3 before we start talking about $6 XRP. Okay. We need to see some more vigorous price action to the upside. At least get back up to $3. Okay. But if you're not able to do so, you do have some support below you, where maybe some people might get interested on XRP at $2.69. Okay. And then also you get the 0.382 level here at $2.57. I think this is a good buy zone between 257 and 270. Should be an area of interest if you're bullish on XRP and looking for some cheaper XRP here. But yeah, XRP does have support below it that should protect it from going down to $2. I don't think you're going to see a $2 XRP. That's a little bit excessive here. But still a possibility. You never know. Yeah, never know. Alright, let's see. Sean C says, you just got alert stating that on the exchanges are getting an influx of XRP from wallets. Interesting. So that tells me that there are some XRP whales and some XRP investors that are trying to sell their XRP to get into something else. Could be the beginning of rotating into smaller caps. They could be trying to get out of XRP to try and buy some of these other altcoins that have some good risk-reward ratios, like Sensei coin, which I'm gonna have to start looking at, see if I can get into. But yeah, that's just signaling to me that the large caps are getting sold to get into smaller caps, in my opinion. So that's part of the altcoin cycle that we talked about, where we said first money goes from Bitcoin into Ethereum, and then Ethereum into the large caps like XRP, Solana, Sui, and whoever else is a large cap, AVAX, Avalanche, Chainlink, and Cardano, and then they move from those coins over to like the smaller caps. So maybe we're gonna start seeing some of that going on in altcoin season here. So that just lets you know that altcoin season's kicking into full gear. All right, moving on to Bonk, and then we'll finish off with Bitcoin. I haven't looked at Bonk in a while. Let's see what Bonk has been up to. Oh, Bonk, what are you doing? All right, so Bonk is at 2,000, roughly, up 3.4% today. And Bonk was catching some bids back in July, out of nowhere, right? We saw Bonk get up to like 4,075. I'm gonna have to do a Fibonacci now off of that, see if Bonk has hit the retracement levels. I'm thinking it might have done the deep retracement at 0.236. Let's see. Yeah, so that 0.236 level on Bonk is sitting at 1836. That also happens to be like where the 200-day moving average is. So if Bonk does go lower for any reason, I would expect it to at least start catching some bids at 1830 and 1850, where you got the 200-day moving average and you also got the 0.236 retracement over there. And if Bonk can actually catch some bids and get launched up to higher prices, then I would expect it first to try to get some resistance at 2266, which is right where that 50-day moving average could act as resistance as well. And if we get past that, then I would expect Bonk to eventually get up to the 618 retracement, which is your normal retracement level that you end up getting back up to or going down to, depending upon what direction you're coming from. In this case, we already blew past that 618 on the way down, but maybe we can get a bounce that would take us up to the 618 all over again at 2961. So that's what you're aiming for, I believe, on Bonk. Let's see, let's try to measure that out here. If you're going to try to take Bonk up to 29 or 3,000 here, you're going to get yourself at least a 51% gain on that. Okay. And I would put the stop loss right below the 200-day moving average. And you're risking about roughly 8%. So you're risking about 8 or 9% to try and get 50% here on Bonk. And that's just getting up to the 618. There's nothing that says that it can't go to higher prices here. But let's first try to get through these levels here. See if we're able to get past the highs here in August at like 2,800. And then eventually, you know, start taking profit at 29 and 3,000. We'll see how it does there. And if it actually acts as support rather than resistance, then yeah, maybe we can push Bonk up to 4,000 all over again here. Alright. Okay. Moving on from Bonk, let's take a look at Daddy Bitcoin over here. See what Daddy Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin at $110,700. Candle is looking crazy on the daily candle here. This is looking more like a almost like a shooting star candle, which would be a price reversal if we were to close the day. But we still have like 7 more hours to go here on the candle for Bitcoin. I think we can, you know, if we get back up to the 50-day moving average, we'll be fine here on Bitcoin. I think that's the next target for Bitcoin. Can we get up to that green line, this green line here, that 50-day moving average at 111,795? Just to confirm that we're still bullish here on Bitcoin. We don't have to be overly bullish. Overly bullish would be if we see Bitcoin back up at 113,000. Then it's like, all right, are we really that bullish on Bitcoin? Okay, I think 111,700 or like 112,000 sounds like a nice number for us to finish off here on Bitcoin to the upside. And then we can probably get some more green candles going into the weekend here. To the downside on Bitcoin, I am still looking at, you know, I'm anxious to buy more Bitcoin and crypto at 108,400, which is a level that we came down to here on Tuesday. Was the lowest low for Tuesday. Also, you got some candle body opening and closings around that level. So I think 108,400 is a level to look for Bitcoin. And then also 107,400. Anywhere between 107 to 108,000 seems to be a good buy zone area. And also we got the 100-day moving average that could provide support at 106,800. So I think you will be lucky to buy Bitcoin at $107,000 here. Okay, but if we do go down there, I mean, it kind of does present the bearish case here that we're making lower highs on the daily time frame, and we're possibly making lower lows here. So I don't know if I really want to see Bitcoin go down to that level, because you're really pushing it. You know, the bears are getting more excited to see Bitcoin go to 107,000, because if we break $107,000, then yeah, then we got the 200-day moving average that could provide support at 101,600 maybe. And then of course, if we lose the 200-day moving average, then I think it's game over on this bull run here. Okay, and it's gonna get a very violent, very vicious, especially in the altcoins. That's not gonna be pretty if we lose $101,000 Bitcoin. But that's what I see on the chart so far, and I'm gonna stick with those numbers for now. Okay, I want to see Bitcoin at 112K by the end of today, especially after the potential bullish news about the United States economy slowing down and interest rates possibly going down as well. I think that's what we're aiming for here on Bitcoin. But yeah, Wall Street, you know, they did it to us, you know. Well, first of all, 113,400 was a number to look for, and they took it up to there, almost like $10 shy of it. And then they sent us down to the netherworld here. But we do have some support on the 1 hour time frame. I think 110,100 should be a good support for Bitcoin. But we'll see. We'll see if they actually decide to defend that level or not. Okay, if we lose this level, then yeah, you got to start looking for $108,000 Bitcoin all over again. Alrighty, that's gonna be it for this live stream, guys. Be on the lookout. I don't go live on the weekends normally. If I do, it'll be on like a Sunday maybe. But yeah, let's plan on seeing me for a normal live stream on Monday between 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time is when I plan on going live next. Okay, guys, good luck. I see some buying opportunities presenting themselves in the altcoins here. I think we're gonna have a good weekend. As long as we can get past Wall Street, as long as Wall Street, we can survive Wall Street clicking the sell button on us. I think we're gonna be alright later on tonight, going into tomorrow and Sunday here. Okay, take care, guys. I'll see you on Monday.
Under thoughts, you